In the early 20th century, professional football was still in its infancy and struggling to gain recognition as a legitimate sport. The birthplace of the National Football League and the Pro Football Hall of Fame can be traced back to Canton, Ohio, where a series of events unfolded that would shape the future of American football. It all began in 1903 when the Canton Bulldogs, a local professional football team, was formed. The Bulldogs quickly gained a reputation for their exceptional talent and success on the field. They won unofficial championships in 1916, 1917, and 1919 in the Ohio League. However, a lack of organization and a standardized set of rules hampered the growth and legitimacy of professional football at that time. On the night of September 17, 1920, several representatives from Ohio-based football teams met at Ralph Hayes Hupmobile dealership in Canton, Ohio, to discuss the formation of a new professional football league. The owner of these independent football teams sought to create a strong league such as Major League Baseball. They also wanted to gain more control over the sport and their finances. Led by the legendary athlete Jim Thorpe, who played for the Bulldogs, the representatives established the American Professional Football Association. In the APFA's inaugural season, Jim Thorpe led the Bulldogs to a championship win against the Toledo Maroons 19-0 in front of 5,000 fans at Swain Field in Toledo, Ohio. Canton would go on to win another championship in 1923. In 1924, the team played in Cleveland after being purchased by a group of businessmen and won yet another championship. Canton would take back its Bulldogs in 1925, but the franchise ultimately disbanded permanently in 1926. The Canton Bulldogs still hold the record for most consecutive wins at 25 between the years of 1921 and 1923. Their triumphs helped draw attention to the league and solidified Canton's place in football history. The APFA was eventually renamed the National Football League, also known as the NFL, in 1922 to reflect its status as the premier professional football league in the United States. Despite its progress, professional football faced constant challenges and struggled to gain mainstream recognition. To generate publicity and draw more fans, in the middle of the 1925 season, the head coach and owner of the Chicago Bears, George Papa Bear Halas, signed Red Grange, also known as the Galloping Ghost, to a $100,000 contract over 3 years. Halas bought the Bears for $100 in 1920. The Bears are estimated to be worth over $6 billion today. Considering the average salary at that time was only $100 to $300 per game, $100,000 was considered an astronomical amount. This move immediately captured the public's imagination. Red Grange had been a superstar player with amazing speed and agility for the University of Illinois. Halas's Bears embarked on a nationwide tour, also known as the Grange Tour, in major cities. Grange's reputation and his immense popularity among college football fans made headlines across the country. The Grange Tour attracted enormous crowds and received extensive media coverage. Grange's decision immediately brought credibility to professional football and attracted college football players to consider playing professionally. The racial history of the NFL evolved significantly in the early years. From the 1920s through the 1940s, the league had an unwritten policy of segregation which excluded African Americans from participating. However, in 1946, the LA Rams signed Kenny Washington and Woody Strode, finally making them the first African Americans to break the color barrier in the modern NFL. Despite this breakthrough, racial segregation still persisted, with teams continuing to have only a few African American players. The 1960s marked a significant turning point in racial integration. The American Civil Rights Movement and growing public pressure led to increased efforts to finally integrate the NFL. In 1962, the Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, became the last team to integrate its roster by trading for star halfback Bobby Mitchell from the Cleveland Browns. The 1960s and 1970s saw a significant rise of African American players in the league. This period saw the rise of iconic African American players like Jim Brown, Willie Davis, Alan Page, and Jim Marshall. The first African American head coach in the NFL was Fritz Pollard for the Akron Pros in 1921. Pollard was a pioneering figure in football, not only as a coach, but also as a player. He was a star running back for the Akron Pros and the first African American to play in the Rose Bowl. Pollard was inducted after his death into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2005. Pollard remains an important figure in the history of American football, breaking barriers and inspiring future generations. In the 1960s, the NFL signed lucrative television contracts that provided extensive coverage of games. Monday Night Football made its debut on September 21, 1970. This provided exciting primetime coverage that attracted a wide audience. The original broadcast team consisted of Howard Cosell, Dandy Don Meredith, and legendary Keith Jackson. On January 15, 1967, the first Super Bowl took place between the Green Bay Packers and Kansas City Chiefs at the LA Memorial Coliseum. In the 1980s and 90s, the NFL started playing preseason games in countries such as Canada, Japan, Mexico, and the UK. In 2005, the NFL launched a more concerted effort to expand its international presence. The league introduced the International Series in 2007, featuring regular season games played outside the United States. The first regular season game held outside North America took place in London, England, between the Miami Dolphins and New York Giants on October 28, 2007. In 1963, recognizing the need to preserve the history and honor the pioneers of professional football, a group of individuals led by Canton businessman Ralph Hay proposed the creation of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Canton's historical ties to the birth of the NFL made it the natural choice for the Hall of Fame's location. Construction on the Pro Football Hall of Fame began on August 11, 1962. On September 7, 1963, the Pro Football Hall of Fame opened its doors to the public, with 17 inductees enshrined in the inaugural class. Canton and the NFL decided on a major expansion to the Hall, and in 2016, construction began on the Hall of Fame Village. The Hall of Fame Village aims to transform the area outside the Hall of Fame into a year-round tourist destination. The centerpiece of the village is state-of-the-art Tom Benson Stadium, where the NFL preseason typically kicks off with the annual Pro Football Hall of Fame game. In addition to concerts and sporting events, it also serves as the site for the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. In addition, a world-class youth football and sports complex was added. It features multiple fields and facilities for football and other sports. The Hall of Fame experience is also a key addition to the Hall. It allows fans to have a fun, interactive experience that allows visitors to engage with the history and excitement of football. It features cutting-edge technology, multimedia displays, and hands-on displays that highlight the evolution of the game and showcase the accomplishment of the Hall of Fame inductees. Today, the Pro Football Hall of Fame stands as a testament to the rich history and legacy of the sport and those who defined it. Every year, the NFL celebrates football's greatest weekend in Canton to celebrate the newest enshrinees and kick off the new football season. Besides the enshrinement and the Hall of Fame game, some key events include the Grand Parade, the Gold Jacket Dinner where the enshrinees receive their gold jackets, the Pro Football Skills Camp for kids, and the Concert for Legends, which in 2023 features Zach Brown. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment to the True History channel.